Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get started. I'm not expecting anyone to really be in the chat, given the time that I'm streaming this at, but for those who are watching afterwards, hopefully I'll see you on the next stream. Hopefully it'll be at a more reasonable time. So, I want to go ahead and I want to make a comparison between geek culture back in the day and MGTOW now. Because I've been noticing some similarities as far as the stigmatization of MGTOW and the stigmatization of geek culture. I have been involved in both. Now, the thing is when I go ahead and I talk about geek culture, I'm talking about, like the combination of, comic book culture, video gaming culture, just basic, hobby culture that guys had back in the day that a lot of people, well, they poo-pooed on it because they either didn't get it or they didn't personally find it entertaining, whatnot, and they just wanted to go ahead and stigmatize it so that way they didn't, so that way they could make themselves feel better by proxy. But I watched an old video because someone made a comment on it, and I went through and rewatched one of my old videos, and I was talking about how MGTOW was being destigmatized. I think I jumped the gun when I said that. Because the thing is there's a lot of stigmatization about MGTOW. But just like with geek culture, kind of went out of, we kind of went out of the way. Oh yeah, no, I'm just rambling at this point, Capone. I do that on my streams. Like the first few minutes are typically rambling, and then after that, alright, there we go. That should be a little bit better. It was just OBS fucking up. It does that from time to time. I don't know what it is, but for some odd reason it'll just drop signal, and I don't know why, guys. Sorry about that. But I should be back live again. Are you guys able to hear me now? Alright, cool. Sweet. Alright. But, yeah, so Capone, like I said, I don't take it as disrespect, when people make suggestions on me doing streams and that sort of thing. And eventually I'm going to be moving my streams over to Twitch, and then I'll just upload them over to YouTube. But I'm planning on moving them over to Twitch, so that way if people want to go ahead, and make donations and that sort of thing, it makes it a lot easier. And then I can get better streaming software, I can get better hardware, I can get an updated computer, because my computer is older than my daughter. It's kind of funny. But yeah. Because some people were saying that they wanted to help me out, but I don't trust Patreon enough on it, and, I guess Twitch will be the better thing there, but I just have to go ahead and motivate myself to actually make the move. And I know that there are a lot of people that don't really use Twitch and won't really want to use Twitch. So I kind of understand that. So maybe I'll alternate between doing Twitch streams and then doing YouTube streams. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it all out at this point. But anywho, like I was saying before, I've noticed some similarities between how geek culture back in the day was treated and how MGTOW today is treated. You know, how there's that stigmatization there, you know, oh, they're losers. Oh, you know, they just can't get laid, and so they do this, and blah, 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 blah. Well, look at what happened with geek culture. Look at what happened with video game culture. Look at what happened with comic book culture. Look at what happened with card game culture. All that sort of shit. Eventually, because they didn't go away and because they persisted, they not only ended up becoming accepted, but they ended up becoming fairly popular and mainstream. Well, the thing is I see MGTOW going through the same pattern at this point. Like, when MGTOW first came out, almost no one heard of it, and then people that did hear of it, you know, poo-pooed all over it, all that sort of shit. But now we're at the point where MGTOW is starting to become kind of mainstream. I mean, you don't really have celebrities that are doing it or anything like that, and quite frankly, I don't really think that it would fit well with celebrities anyway, because it takes away a lot of their star power, so I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. But I'm noticing that more and more people are being open about MGTOW. Like, I actually saw someone walking down the street, and I don't even do this, but I saw someone walking down the street a couple days ago that actually had a MGTOW shirt on. It was kind of awesome. Oh, Durden is MGTOW. Huh. Didn't know that. But I also don't keep up too much with the whole celebrity bullshit because it's a constantly changing landscape, and I don't like standing on shifting sands. But a guy, no, I saw a guy actually wearing a MGTOW shirt. It was kind of cool. A lot of people don't recognize the MGTOW symbol and all that sort of thing, you know, or any of the symbols for MGTOW. I've seen plenty. But the funny thing is I walked up to him and started talking to him about MGTOW, and it was funny because he was actually someone who watches my channel. It was interesting. I get that every once in a while where I live. You know, people have seen my channel and recognized me from it because I used to show my face and that sort of thing. And once I get some better equipment and can actually set up my space for it, I'll go ahead and start showing my face on the live streams again. But it's just with the current setup that I have, it's way too much of a hassle at this point. Well, the thing is we can't really keep it secret at this point anymore, Solitude. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the cat's already out of the bag. People already know about MGTOW. Feminists are constantly talking about MRAs and trying to link MGTOW to MRAs, which is fair enough, to be perfectly honest, because like I said before in my last stream, I think that a lot of MGTOWs are just like basically kind of MRA, but just we're just past the point of no return at this point. We're all like, you know what? There's really nothing that's going to be done because there's too many fucking simps out there. There's way too many fucking manginas. There's way too many of these people that are willing to capitulate to the almighty pussy pass. And so they're not. So I think MGTOWs really should still give support to MRAs. But at the same time, MGTOWs aren't exactly the best example of MRAs. We're the less, I guess I'll say less tactful, typically. We're the more blunt, the more direct versions of the MRAs at this point. We're basically MRAs that have adopted the mentality of basically, you know, fuck your feelings is basically the mentality that we've gotten. We're all like, no, these are the facts. This is what's fucking happening, and we're not going to stay quiet about it, and we're not going to be nice about it because you're sure as hell not being nice about it. So screw you. That's basically how I'm looking at MGTOW at this point, because that's what I've been seeing from MGTOW. And I don't get these MGTOWs that dog on MRAs. It's kind of like with geek culture, how geek culture used to rag on nerd culture. It's all like, you do realize that there's a lot of crossover there, right? You do realize that everyone else lumps your two groups into one group. You do realize this. So when you're attacking that other group and weakening that other group, you're actually weakening your entire group in the eyes of the general public. Yeah, the monks have a different perspective, and I don't have anything against MGTOW monks. I'm not particularly a MGTOW monk. I'm not, and I don't think I ever will be. I don't have any issues with MGTOW monks until they sit there and start calling people that don't go straight to MGTOW monks stupid and that sort of thing. That's when I have a real problem. But that's because it's all like, oh, you're not as extreme about this as us. You're not going to be going the same distance as us. Therefore, you're stupid and your opinion doesn't fucking matter. You're worthless to me. That, I think that's a mentality that we need to really avoid. It's kind of scary. Yeah, hey, Capone, if you ever want to go ahead and get on and do a live stream together, I'm more than happy to do it. I don't care if someone has a small channel or a large channel. I welcome people on my streams. It's just lately I haven't been able to line up my schedule with the other people that I typically do my streams with, and I haven't been actively searching out other people to do it. I figure if people want to go ahead, come onto my channel and either debate me or just have a discussion or whatever, I have no problems with that. Just as long as they don't try to bogard my channel, I'm good. All right, man. Have you gotten onto my Discord? Because if you've gotten onto my Discord, then go ahead, hit me up on there, and we can go ahead and schedule a time, and we can go ahead and do it, and we can get ourselves a general topic to at least have as a jumping off point. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. With me, Solitude, I'm one of those weirdos that I honestly have no issues with sex dolls, and here's my reason why. First reason, it pisses feminists off beyond all reason. Like, it pisses them off to, like, aneurysm levels. And so, at that point, I'm all like, this is a good thing. I'm going to support it just for that. That's kind of the trolly part of me. Another thing is I've noticed that a lot of guys, when they don't take care of business, they tend to not think quite as clearly, and they tend to become more and more susceptible over time to the wiles of women, we'll say. And so that's I think a good solution. And not to mention, I actually know a couple of people that have those sex dolls and don't actually use them for sex, but they just have them in their bed so their bed feels a little less empty, and they get that subconscious feeling of having someone there, and it makes that, and it takes the edge off of the MGTOW style. I've actually talked about it before. I do want to talk about it again, kind of more in depth on a live stream, as far as the negative effects that being MGTOW can have on a guy, because there are some negative effects that come along with it that you do have to mitigate, you have to be prepared for, because if you get blindsided by them, it can end exceedingly poorly. And I don't want MGTOW to give rise to serial killers or anything like that. So, but yeah, But again, and I can go ahead and I can segue back into the original discussion on this with geek culture. Geek culture, for the longest time, there was a sense of kind of isolation. Like the only time you really could get together with other geeks were at conventions and so on and so forth. And if you were hanging out with other geeks doing geeky things, you know, you had to kind of keep it on the down low. Um, have a good night, man. No, Matt, I don't have a new Discord. It's still my old Discord. I just haven't been on that Discord because I actually took about a month off from doing content. That's where I've been. I was just taking a month off, relaxing, enjoying life, you know, having some fun, and just kicking back a little bit. Capone, let's go ahead and schedule one for more of a kind of, I guess, prime time session, because right now not a whole lot of people show up to these streams, and I want to go ahead and have kind of a general concept that you want to talk about. If you want to talk about MGTOW monks, then that's awesome. I'll also try to get a MGTOW monk to come in, so that way they can have a voice in there as well. At the same time, because I know that there are some misconceptions about MGTOW monks, and there's different types of MGTOW monks and all that sort of shit. So I'll try to get someone. I make no promises, but I mean, we can go ahead and do a live stream together tomorrow, the next day, whatever, whatnot. But it's kind of late here, and so I'm going to try to keep this stream relatively short. But this was just a thought that I kind of wanted to go ahead and talk about while it was in my head, because it's not one of those ones that would stay there for a long time. But, and not to mention, I don't have my OBS set up for that yet, and I don't want to go through and do the programming while having to talk on a stream and all that sort of thing. Oh, if you want to join in as a monk, Matt, then go ahead and hit me up on the Discord, and me and Capone can go ahead, get together, and just do this. But yeah, but I just need to go ahead and set up my OBS to go ahead and do the streaming from the Discord as the input, because I have to put the output of the Discord in as the input. Kind of weird. Oh yeah, for sure, man. I have no problems with people doing it, and if you ever take part in one of my streams, feel free to go ahead and rip the stream off of my channel and go ahead and put it onto your channel. I got no problems with that, man. If you ever want to do that, that's one of the things with my channel. I'm not going to come after anyone or anything like that. I believe in fair use, and if you took part in it, then it's just as much yours as it is mine. But not to mention, like I said, I do this so that way these ideas can spread and it can further the discussion, because I think the more that we have this discussion, the less shadows that there are for these feminist cowards to hide in. But yeah, and I would love to have some new people on that I haven't had on before. You know, it would be fantastic. Exactly. My videos are free use. Hell, if you ever want to go ahead and take some clips from my videos and use them as examples or something like that, feel free, man. Got no problems. Just the only thing I request is that you point people to my channel. And I'll do the same if I ever use videos from other people as examples, although I typically don't do that because I don't make the standard videos anymore, and most of my videos are of me walking around and talking. I try to keep it as organic as possible. I try not to do too much editing. because I like the conversations to feel, like I said, organic, as opposed to that sterile that can happen with some of the older, with not older, but with some of the more traditional styles of video. Um, yeah, no, I'll definitely go ahead and check out your channel after the stream, man. I love seeing other people's opinions and seeing their work and all that. So, but when it comes, like I said, when it comes to geek culture and MGTOW, MGTOW's kind of going along the same path, just at an accelerated rate. I actually was part of geek culture very early on, and it was, I'll admit, it was a living nightmare. I mean, the stigmas that came with it, you know, is all like, oh, they're nothing but man children. They're basement dwellers, you know, neckbeards, you know, that sort of stuff, which is still around nowadays. Which is, or should I say, it's making a resurgence nowadays because people know that geeks suffered through that shit, and so they're trying to do it to hurt us. Um, but what they don't realize is we became immune to that quite a long time ago. But now with MGTOWs, you know, we're called misogynists, we're called woman haters, woman beaters, users, abusers, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, all baseless, foundless accusations, and we just look at them and we go, prove it. There's nothing here. Are there specific women that I hate? Yes. Are there things that women do that I hate? Yes. Does it mean I hate women? No. I love it whenever people try to use something that I said out of context to say that I'm a woman hater. I'm like, I'm not a woman hater. I'm not. But what I hate is that women are willing to go along with feminism, even though it's very provable that feminism is the most unhealthy thing for them at this point. That it's dangerous for them. And I have real issues with that level of stupidity. I guess that comes from me having grown up in geek culture. You know, stupidity is not really a thing. But it is what it is. Um, but like I said, you know, we're kind of going through the same song and dance at this point that geek culture went through, just at an accelerated rate, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because that means less bullshit for, you know, as far as time frame is concerned. But it's a bad thing because I'm kind of afraid that MGTOW isn't going to build that resilience, and it's not going to get the respect that geek culture has gotten because of the fact that geek culture persisted through so much bullshit for so long, through so many different stigmas, through so much abuse, through so much just unfettered hatred. But MGTOW also has more of a social message as opposed to it just being a hobby. And so it has a little bit more weight starting out the gate. So I think it might balance out. But when I go ahead and I take a look at how people look at MGTOW and the examples that they tend to use only the most extreme of examples. Like with me, I use extreme examples for feminism quite often. I will openly admit that. But that's because it's the extremists that I have the real issue with. There are some that might just be misguided, and those are the ones that you can actually talk to. Those are the ones that actually want to have a conversation. Same thing with SJWs. You know, there are some SJWs that actually want to have a conversation, that actually want to have a debate, and a legitimate conversation and debate at that. When the extremists, they don't want it. They don't want you to be able to talk. They want to silence you. You know, motherfuckers like Steve fucking Shives. You know, I absolutely hate that motherfucker, and it's very odd for me to hate an individual, but him I hate as an individual. I hate him as a person. Because the thing is he knows that what he's spewing is bullshit. He knows it. You can see it on his face as he's fucking saying it. So I have absolutely no respect for him as a human or otherwise. And so that's where it comes into play. But again, that kind of comes down to, again, me having grown up in geek culture, because I had moral busybodies that sat there and said that D&D was a gateway to Satanism, or to satanic worship, or whatever the fuck they wanted to call it. Then you've got the whole video games make people violent thing. Really? If video games made people violent, with as many video games as I fucking played, why in the hell have I not gone out and set off a nuke in LA? You know? But I hate when people use the most extreme of MGTOWs, the ones that are in the perpetual red pill rage aspect of it. Either that, or guys who claim to be MGTOW that are actually just PUAs. You know, the ones that are still so damn thirsty for pussy, it's not even fucking funny. But they're sitting there and claiming to be MGTOW and claiming to be over it, when they're just bitter that they failed at something. You know, when they prove that stereotype right. But I'm just saying, yeah, no, I agree with you on the Soros thing and him sponsoring gynocentrism, but it's that's the fastest way to take down a nation, is to have it go gynocentric. I mean, honestly, it's the most effective way, because then it's going to self-destruct. It's going to self-weaken itself to where you can come in and take over easily. Honestly, I think that that should be like the #1 tactic in war, because it's the most effective. And at that point, it takes absolutely no military intervention. Just let the country take care of itself. Of course, there are some countries that are immune to that. Like the Middle East, for example. They're immune to gynocentrism, pretty much. Like, there are some gynocentric things there, but they're heavily outweighed by balancing. And so, I mean, like, the whole aspect of if a guy goes out and he's working, but then the woman goes out and decides to get a job, you know, in some of the Middle Eastern countries where that's a thing. You know, she goes out, she decides to go out and get a job. He is solely responsible for paying for the caregiving for the kids while she's out working. And then you end up, and then she ends up making more money than him, but that money is literally her money. It's not household money. If those children starve to death or aren't clothed properly, all of the blame goes onto the guy. The guy's the one who gets the punishment for it. And sometimes that punishment is death. That is a thing that happens in Middle Eastern countries. And it's based off of the thought that a woman wouldn't allow that to happen. The false thought that a woman wouldn't allow that to happen. I don't like Sharia law. I really don't like any law that's based off of a religion. Period. End of story. I'm not a fan of it. And quite frankly, I don't think that a woman's word should count as half of that as a man's, but also at the same time, in the current situation that we have, right now it counts as 4 times as a man's. You know, it's all, hey, her words somehow are able in some cases to override physical evidence. And that is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. We have like the opposite of Sharia law here. If you actually take a look at it, I think both are too far extreme on either side. We need to find a nice little fucking middle ground. But, I mean, that's a discussion for an entire other stream. But I've also noticed that, just like with geek culture, now women are wanting to get involved in the MGTOW culture. It's all like, no, it's men going their own way. We don't want you here. You are the reason why we're here in the first place. We came here to get away from you. To get away from your bullshit. A lot of MGTOWs have this consensus that women getting involved in MGTOW would completely undermine it at the best case of scenarios and would actively make it a death trap for men in the worst case scenario. And quite frankly, I'm a worst case scenarioist myself. So, how's it going, Terror Battle? But yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, I mean, take a look at what happened to geek culture once women got involved in it. All of a sudden, it got heavily commercialized. Because the thing is if men are interested in something, it's not necessarily going to be all that profitable. But as soon as women get involved in it, well, guess what? Now you have 80% of the spending power in the country that's interested in this. So all of a sudden, they're going to go ahead and start bringing capitalism into it. Capitalism's going to rear its head, and it's going to come in, and it's going to try to exploit it. Hey, love, how's it going, man? And so that's kind of a danger that I see us heading toward as MGTOW. I mean, I don't mind guys, you know, who are MGTOW content producers releasing, you know, their own merchandise and that sort of thing to fund their hobby and that sort of thing, allow their supporters to actually show support and that sort of thing. I got no problems with that. I'm not dogging on that. But if a big company starts producing, like, MGTOW stuff and starts releasing MGTOW commercials and that sort of thing, specifically targeting MGTOWs, I'm going to be looking sideways at it. And I'm then going to start taking a good, long, hard look at MGTOW and be all like, all right, where did this fundamentally change? Yeah, I'm with you on that, love. And I mean, if you guys watch my earlier streams, which I do apologize, are insanely long. In fact, a few of them are 8 hours long. I actually sat there and I welcomed women in to the chat. I still do, but the thing is I'm not gonna go easy on women. I'm not gonna pull my punches with them. I never did. But we had one that was called Carly, and the thing is it's still a debate on whether or not Carly was actually a woman or just an online male troll. But the thing is what I'm talking about as far as women getting involved is them making MGTOW content and that sort of thing. Like, we've got several women that are making MRA content and are talking positively about MGTOW. In fact, that's one of the ways that I even came to really start looking into MGTOW was through Karen Strawn or Girl Writes whatever you want, or the Badgers, or, you know, whatever medium you get introduced to her through. And I know I'm not the only MGTOW. I know that there are a lot of MGTOWs that have come into knowing MGTOW through a woman that actually is being honest about the situation, that's actually taking a good, honest look at female nature. And it's actually an amazing thing to see, because the ironic part is for a woman to look at female nature critically is to, in and of itself, go against female nature. But I'm with Terror Battle. I am so sick and tired of people allowing women to come in to basically predominantly male spaces and then them demand that the space change to accommodate them. No, if you're coming into a space then you change yourself to fit into the space. You do not tell the space to conform to you. So I do agree with Turbattle on that. And I've seen it happen with video gaming. I've seen it happen with comic books. I've seen it happen with card games. I've seen it happen with tabletop games. I've seen it happen with D&D. I've seen it happen in more places than I could possibly list or count in any reasonable period of time. I mean, hell, it's starting to happen with Boy Scouts, for fuck's sake. They're allowing girls into the Boy Scouts now. It makes me kind of want to go to Congress and say, look, I want 3/4 of you to vote to take this off my fucking record. Because I'm an Eagle Scout. And for me to not have that award takes a 3/4 vote from National Congress to get it taken away from me. And right now, with the way that the Boy Scouts is functioning, I'm kind of wanting to go ahead, save up money, and make a trip out there to have them remove that reward from me. So that way, I don't have that tied to me anymore. And Turbattle, I want to go ahead and I want to bring this up because since you did mention it, I want to bring this up. Why is it they're wanting fraternities to take in women when at the same time they're saying that fraternities are rape dens? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to anyone else? Because it doesn't make sense to me. If you're sitting there and saying that these things are so dangerous for women, why are you sitting there and fighting for women to be able to join in? It's just one more indiscrepancy or full-out contradiction at this point in the feminist movement, in the feminist mantra. And I think that it's funny that they sit there and say that MGTOWs are women abusers when I haven't heard of any MGTOWs having some sort of sex scandal or anything like that. Have you guys? Yet, these male feminists that are supposed to be the safe ones, the good ones, just over and over and over again. I mean, basically, as soon as a guy says, I'm a male feminist, start the timer. Seriously. Start the fucking timer. On the allegations and the convictions and that sort of thing, because the thing is that these guys are really male feminists. They're not going to fight back. They're not going to sit there and say, no, she's lying, because they're so fucking afraid. And the thing is MGTOWs don't really get the opportunity to really abuse women because we lower our interactions with women down to the most basic of interactions. In some sort of sick parallel universe way, MGTOW is what feminism has been working its way toward. Feminists have been wanting men to completely distance themselves from women. At least the rabid feminists are. Then you've got moderate feminists that are just doing it for self-serving purposes only. And I'm not going to bring up the whole lesbian thing and all of that because, I mean, you've got that same argument with in the MGTOW community. Like if a gay guy comes into the MGTOW community, all of a sudden he's viewed as self-serving, and he just wants to separate men out to try to try to quote unquote corrupt them, whatever, whatnot. And you got the religious zealots on that part. So I'm not even gonna go there. But I find it interesting that now that the MGTOW culture is starting to become as prevalent as it is, all of a sudden now women are starting to panic. And what do? They sit there and start doing the exact shit that MGTOW says that they fucking do on a daily basis. And people are sitting there looking at MGTOW going, prove it. And MGTOWs are just looking at the women that are attacking MGTOW, looking back at the people saying, prove it, looking back at the women that are attacking MGTOW and go, they're proving it for us. They thought you were talking to them. Maybe you should talk them down. Yeah, incels are completely different. Let's be completely honest. Incels are different from MGTOW. Some incels claim to be MGTOW, but I already talked about that before. I just didn't use the acronym. But the thing is I've seen a lot of guys that have gone MGTOW, and I guarantee you that as soon as he says that he's MGTOW, there are women out there that are howling in pain. Because I've seen guys that are exceedingly successful financially, business-wise, socially, you know, all that, and they're MGTOW. So I find it interesting. Yeah, I still need to look into that story. Bullet linked it to me in Discord. I need to go ahead and take a look into it, Turbattle. But I still haven't looked into it. I'm gonna end up talking about that. He kind of warned me. He said it might end up becoming a rage stream. But I don't know. I don't know if I still have all that piss and vinegar left, because my red pill rage has started to actually die down a little bit. Because at this point, nothing's really surprising me or taking me by, taking me by storm anymore. Like whenever I hear something fucked up happen from the women camp, I'm just all like, yeah, it makes sense. I've just gotten to the point where I'm starting to expect the worst. But the thing is I mean, if that's red pilling a lot of people, then I mean, at least some good came from it. But I hate seeing guys end up getting destroyed, even if it's guys that I absolutely hate. I hate seeing guys get absolutely fucking destroyed under those circumstances. Yeah. Well, the thing is there's a lot of normie men out there that are starting to see what MGTOWs and MRAs are talking about. Because the thing is it's kind of a weird thing. They get pissed off at MGTOWs and MRAs for bringing the shit up. But it's one of those things that you just can't unhear. And it sticks in your mind. And then all of a sudden you start noticing the shit. And the more you notice it, the more it pisses you off. So the more you think about it. And then the more you think about it, the more you notice it. And it becomes a self-feeding cycle. And the next thing you know, boom, they're in the red pill camp. And they don't know how they got there. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic on how that goes. And I would love to get an actual clinical psychologist. I would like to get someone who is actually trained in the field to come in and explain how that pathway works. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Like I said, I wanted to keep this stream short, and here we are, already at 40 minutes. Good God. But I'm going to say this right now. Once I end up hitting 500 subs, for the 500 subscriber thing, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and try to do an 8-hour long live stream, kind of like in the good old days. And I'll probably release a few of the me walking around videos, and hopefully I can go ahead and do the video thing for my 500 subscriber special. That would be kind of awesome. Because I know that was one of those things that kind of set me apart from some of the streaming MGTOWs, was that I showed my face. But hey, it is what it is, you know. I think that this looks like it's higher quality than me having the face cam on, because I don't have a background or anything like that. But thank you to everyone who came to the live stream. As always, I appreciate the support. Go ahead, leave a like if you liked the stream. If you've noticed any other similarities between some other subculture and how it was treated and stigmatized and MGTOW, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. Hey, TFM, how's it going? Hey, TFM, go ahead, hit me up on my Discord. I would love to go ahead and do a live stream with you, man. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you all for coming. Go ahead, hit the like button, share video with people, you know, help get the word out there. Sorry, I'm not good at shilling. I'm really not. I'm not used to shilling at all. No, seriously though, thank you all for it. Leave comments down in the comment section below if you've noticed any other similarities between any subcultures, how they were stigmatized, how they were treated, and MGTOW, and the pathway that MGTOW's been going on. Go ahead and let us all know, because I'm sure that I haven't noticed everything. And thanks all for coming. Talk to y'all later. Peace.